Let's continue this thing. See what this adult, explicit content is all about. Alright. The night left a feeling of anxiety behind. I woke up being exhausted both physically and mentally. It happens to me all the time. You see incredibly lucid images in your dream, as if you fell into a Hollywood blockbuster with a plot full of twists, well-paid actors and multi-million-dollar visual effects, and then you wake in the morning without remembering a thing. That's what I was trying to do, trying to restore the images shown by my relaxed brain, but this part of memory was empty, either archived or formatted at all. Blink. It's 7 a.m. according to the clock. I seem to be an early bird today. Olga was still sleeping, wrapping tightly in her blanket. Wrapping so tightly in a hot summer. I got up, stretched, came to the mirror to have a look at myself. I better shave. Strange idea. Before, 2 times a month was enough, but now nothing depends on the way I look. I haven't found a razor anyway. Why do I even need it if I look like I am 17 at most? So, breakfast can't start earlier than 9 a.m., and this means I have plenty of time, which I can spend in walking and washing, for example. Water didn't seem as ice cold as the previous day. Vice versa. Its cute coolness helped me to brace up and come back to reality, whether all these events could be called real. The tooth powder didn't seem to be such an outdated thing. A quick thought has struck me that it's not that different from toothpaste. When I returned to the cabin, Olga was already up. She was standing in front of the mirror, fixing her hair. "Good morning, Semyon." "Morning." Because of lack of sleep, my head was still singing, and the thoughts were all jumbled together. However, I didn't regret waking up, instead of usual sleeping 2 or 3 hours more. "How come you got up so early?" "Just happened." "And no neckerchief. Once again, let me." "I'll do it myself, not a big deal. On my way to the canteen." "I don't think so. Do it now." "Did you forget about the lineup before breakfast?" "How could I ever forget?" "And what's the lineup going to be about today?" "We'll discuss the agenda for the day." "So what's the agenda?" Frankly speaking, I didn't care for what might be on the agenda for our courageous pioneer troop. I was mostly interested in where our brave leader will our little pioneer army... What? I was most interested in where our brave leader will our little pioneer army for the following 12 to 15 hours. It makes no sense. Maybe I will manage to avoid enemy dislocations. Let's find that out at lineup. She gave me a wily smile. "Olga, my stomach is getting upset. I'd rather, I believe that it's okay to miss the lineup once. It would get all nasty if I failed to control it right there. Where did all this courage come from?" "You have 5 more minutes. I'm afraid I need more time. Could you tell me right now, please?" "Sure, I'll try. But just in case it all goes down." "Oh, fine. On our list today is cleaning the camp locations, organizing the books in the library, some other minor tasks, and, of course, we will have a dance party in the evening." "Watch yourself. You must take part in the camp activities today." "You bet." "Definitely. And now I'd rather... Come on, hit the road." I came out of the cabin and hid in the bushes behind, waiting for Olga to leave. Actually, I didn't have any particular reason to behave this way, but the voice within me kept telling that I have nothing to do at the lineup. ... After the camp leader left, I went back to the cabin and decided to wait for breakfast there. Well, I'm not planning to take part in community life today. Cleaning and organizing, that's not what someone in my situation should be doing. 2 days have passed, and I'm still there where I started. All tenants seemed to be perfectly ordinary people. They weren't involved in any conspiracy, weren't communicating with aliens, and had no idea about time warps. Now, of course, each of them is a bit peculiar, but these that's a hard word to say, but these peculiarities do not step out of line at all. Peculiarities. Moreover, having met any of these pioneers from my familiar world, I wouldn't suspect anything wrong. They seemed to be even more normal and natural than, let's say, my very self. This line of reasoning was quite logical. The illogical part was the absence of answers. Ordinary people in non-ordinary place. I've heard and have seen that already, somewhere. Dozens of pioneers, or even more, like their familiar lives, and do their regular stuff day by day. They don't understand that the world around them is not what it looks like. Okay. But this is their point of view. As for me, I'm not acquainted with both the world of Sovyanok camp and its tenants, even if they seem to behave the way normal people would under the same circumstances. I have to decide here and now, are those people involved in what's happening to me? Can they give me any answers? Or I have to seek the truth somewhere else. ... It seems I'm a bit overdone with thinking. There's no usual crowd of hungry pioneers near the canteen, or even inside the canteen. Probably most of them had their breakfast before 9 a.m. That's even better. 2 as a company, 3 as a crowd. Lena was still sitting in the farthest corner of the canteen, lazily picking with her fork an amorphic lump that vaguely resembled porridge. Having a breakfast with her seems like a good idea. We can have a chat in peace, or at least try to have one. I was on the way to her table when suddenly someone grabbed me by the sleeve. Xenia, the librarian. Take your meal and come, we need to talk. ... What are you waiting for? I was a bit confused. Pardon, isn't it a bit too sudden? What's wrong? Take your meal and sit down. I suppose that she judges her behavior as something completely normal. Whatever. I'm not sure why, but I accepted the invitation. What if I can learn something new? She is such a bookworm. A minute later, I was sitting in front of Xenia, with the tray and the simple meal on it. Porridge, 2 eggs, 4 pieces of white bread, a sausage, and a glass of compote. Bon appetit. Thanks. I decided to act as politely as I can, and also eat neatlier, without champing or spilling crumbs of food and drops of compote. So, what do you want to talk about? Stay at the library. I wasn't listening from this point onwards. I immediately recalled the Olga's word about the scheduled events for today. Don't forget. Oh, what? I said, don't forget to visit the library after lunch. What for? Were you even listening? Nope. Admitted I honestly. Xenia's face turned red, then appeared as green, then took on the soft purple color. Today after lunch, you, in the library. Get it? Dunce. Dunce. What kind of curse is that? Though a pioneer must never use a curse word, how could I forget this rule? Oh yeah, sure, I apologize, of course. I'll be there. Actually, I wasn't really planning to go anywhere, but if you want to make someone speak, you need to sacrifice a bit at first. By the way, what year is it now? I totally lost the count. I decided to play fair. She looked at me perplexed and answered, Have you completely gone bananas? Honestly, that's how I felt for the last few days. Xenia didn't reply. So, what year is it? I smiled kindly. Listen, why don't you visit the infirmary? Yes. Will they tell me what year it is there? Oh, certain, and even more. Xenia stood up and headed to the exit. Wait, you didn't finish your meal, but looks like she won't turn back. I was finished chewing on the sausage. Tasted like a twisted pear cable. I wonder if they have an internet access here. Guess no. A pioneer sitting on the other table has noted me talking to myself and stared at me. I smiled and waved to him in return. After such a friendly greeting, he, for some reason, left the canteen quickly without finishing his breakfast. Done with the food, it's time to search for some clues. Sometime later, I finally came to the infirmary. I have nothing to do in that place. Though the nurse seemed quite caring, it's better to keep the distance from her. Such benevolence is actually scary. She may know something, but I had no courage to just enter the infirmary. Moreover, I had no motive, not a single one. Immersed in my own thoughts, I didn't notice the nurse who was standing on the porch. "Hi there, pioneer." Here we go, there's the music. She came closer. "You must be sick," came from medicine. No, I was just wandering around." "Oh, the truant, I see. But if you're here, I have a serious task for you." I gave her a look of inquiry. The word task made me feel uneasy. It sounded like something inevitable. The nurse smiled spitefully. "You both will help me to make the inventory of the supplied medicine which arrived today." Both? Who are we? Perhaps I misheard. But what word can be confused with both? "Hi." Lena emerged from the nurse's back. Seems strange that I haven't noticed her until now. "Come here after dinner." I had explained everything to Lena. "She will tell you what to do." Medicine, huh? Supplied today. But Olga told me that no bus will arrive in the next couple of days. So, there were visitors in our camp today. Yes, they arrived from the city this morning. Why are you asking? Just curious. All right then, pioneer. So tonight after dinner you'll be here. Maybe Lena was barely noticeable this whole time. Surely, she's able to keep invisibility like a skilled ninja. I could do it on my own. No way. There are lots of boxes, and the pioneer is always ready. Isn't it so, pioneer? She gazed at me and smiled menacingly. I don't want to spend a whole evening doing something like this. Also, I've got more important things to do, but rejecting this request would be really improper. If it was Lena who's standing here, I would definitely think my way out. I will do it. Nicely. That's how a true pioneer should answer. Even after these words, I hardly came a step closer to be prepared. Always prepared, motto. Then you can go. I looked at Lena, who's still staring at the ground. I guess all that time she was staring at the ground. I guess all that time she was staring at the ground was enough to learn everything there is to know about life and habits of different insects. Plus, Lena likes to read, so she probably reads many biological, botanical, and so on books. Perhaps she wants to become an etymologist. ... Where will you head next? Lena's words drew me away from the obscure thoughts. We'd been standing at the square for some time, and my speculations about Bug's life were only an attempt to escape this awkward situation. Though, why did I see it awkward? Just do not forget, all right? Do not forget what? Well, tonight, after dinner, at the infirmary. Her face got a slight grumpy feel to it. No way, that's impossible. All right. Right after dinner, I'm at your service. I bethought too late. After my words, Lena blushed harder. I need to find the way to ease this situation. Why did the nurse ask you to do it? I don't know. I was just sitting at the bench and reading a book when she came, and it's smart to ask a fail-safe person who would never say no. Okay. Well then, after dinner. Okay. I'll go then. Yes, sure. She walked off somewhere aside the clubs, and I just stood at the square for some time. So, what's next? I decided to visit my cabin in order to collect my phone. Don't know where I'll find myself today, but having a watch is always useful, though having a wristwatch is much easier. Suddenly I heard a different tune, which was coming through the usual noise of this camp. I listened to it carefully. Sounds like an electric guitar. 3 repeating chords, no more. But this melody, still, was somehow warmer, as if vacuum tube-based audio amplifier was used. Could there be such a luxury here? Definitely. The sound was coming somewhere from the stage area. I wonder, who could that be? Let's do it. Coming to the stage area, I caught a sight of Alyssa on the stage. The girl was giving it all. With her eyes closed, she placed one of her legs up on the speaker and was swaying her body with the music and the rhythm. I couldn't recognize the melody, but I was pretty sure that I've heard it before. Probably something from the Soviet rock. I could have named a dozen of bands in this genre right off the bat, but I was hardly an expert. The song really seemed simple, literally a 3-chord progression. Probably even I could have played it with given time to practice. I wonder where did Alyssa get her playing skills? In USSR, such music had never been nationally acclaimed. The future rock star wasn't taking any notice of me. It was like she was trying to become one with the music, to her sound in every note, in every bar, in every triplet. Rock heroes of the 80s instantly came to mind. Many of them were devoted to the music in such a similar way. If she gets dressed into something more suitable for that period's fashion instead of a pioneer uniform, no one would notice the difference. Her performance was coming to an end. Picking up a couple of last chords, Alice has finally noticed me. Isn't it supposed to be Alyssa? Did you like it? She doesn't seem surprised as I would have expected. Yeah, that was cool. As if you could do it better, smiled Alyssa slyly. I'm not saying that I could do it better. I'm not a pro in music. No doubt. Yep. I didn't know what to tell her next and was on my way. Wait a minute. What? Heard of the evening disco party. I thought I was just dancing. Disco or dance, what's the difference? She frowned. Yes, I did, and so what? Are you going to come? With these words thrown, she turned away. I'm not sure, and you? What am I going to do there? Watch a herd of morons? There was some truth in Alyssa's words, but the scenic disrespect surprised me. It's clear that it's not the idea of disco parties that she hates. But why? Why do you mean by why? What do you mean by why? Well, why don't you want to come? Disco parties ought to be fun. Do you really think so? Annoyance flashed in her voice. Don't know. But I thought that you would. Never liked them. She interrupted me. Absolutely nothing to do at such parties. I see. So what's your plan then? I asked just to keep a conversation. Just we'll move on with practicing. What are you practicing? The song, silly ass. You've even heard it. You have even heard it. Alyssa had gone totally mad. A few more wrong questions, and I will have to run for my life. Who wrote this song? I did. So you've written it by yourself? By myself. Cool. An awkward silence hung in the air. Okay, then. Don't you want to listen? Didn't I just hear it? That's not what I meant. She pouted. The whole song. It's just a jam for now. Ah, come on, do it then. Not right now. Do not do it then. I felt uncertain about what she wanted from me. You mean you don't want me to play? Seems like frustrated her. What? I got ready for a guitar smash on the forehead or something even worse. But there is only an upset expression over Alyssa's face. I want to, I've told you. Come here tonight then, I'll play it for you. For me. How cute. Tonight is a dance party. You said that you won't go there. I didn't say that. Frankly speaking, I didn't want to go, but messing up with Dva Che was no good either. Olga won't get it. Screw her, said Alyssa, getting up steam. Between a shame at the dance party and that Olga person's mad, damn it, it's not Olga. Alright. Dva Chevskaya's mad guitar skills. I'd rather pick the last. Good boy. She smiled strange. I was just thinking if the decision I made was a right one, when suddenly I was interrupted by the ringing, calling the pioneers for lunch. I looked towards the canteen. I suppose it's time to go. Hunger is a sharp thorn. I turned around with an intent to call Alyssa to come along, but she looked so cheerless and down. Every musician should know when it's time to leave. I grumbled under my breath. ... Who is marching forward in a lot? It is our pioneer squad. Pioneers in a lot usually march to the canteen in Sovietnak camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, just like it happened before, just so I can eat in peace. And for that, I have to be the least, not the last one to come. At least not the last one to come. But I was pretty sure whatever happens here happens whether I want it or not. The canteen was as full as an egg. Olga was standing at the entrance, guarding like a hawk. Well, Semyon, where were you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done. And the hardest is yet to come. You bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed at the table next to the pillar. Slavia, Uliana, and Lena were already sitting there. Not a bad company, at least not the worst one. I took the meal and came up to them. Don't mind if I sit here? I caught myself sounding a bit scenic. There were no other free places anyway. Yes, of course. Please do. Lena remained silent. Today the meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected some meat to be lurking in it, but I have had no evidence of that. Some poultry. Chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to a conclusion that I have no other choice, which means that there is no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat. Coming to the dance party tonight? I don't know, though I already had my arrangements with Alyssa. He'll come. He got nowhere to go, Uliana said happily. You will come for sure. Of course, I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool of yourself today, whatever. She got it right, so I've decided not to reply. And what about you? I asked Lena. Yes, she replied briefly. See, you should go too then, said Slavia, as if leaving me no choice. Don't forget to put your tailcoat on. Apparently, Uliana was so pleased with her joke that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and winter clothes, which would be inappropriate even in the evening. And what will you be dressed in, entertainer? Secret. Will it be a little dress, just like a kindergartner's matinee? Uliana half turned red. Looks like I managed to offend her. No, I will wear a biohazard suit, just so I don't get any infection from you. I wonder what kind of infection you are planning to get from me. Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Imbecility, of course. Looks like Uliana was highly pleased with herself. As she thought, brilliant answer again. You know, if you already have a flu, you can't catch a cold. It's a game for two. What are you implying? Oh, nothing at all. I looked away slyly. Do you mean that? She got red again. I don't mean anything. Guys, given that it was Lena who interfered, probably it was really time to stop. You'll get what you're asking for. What? You've finally grown wiser. Uh-oh. Instead of replying, Uliana grabbed her plate filled with borscht and toppled it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. Oh, you little... She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. And now what? I can't just smash her head against the table. This mime show lasted for a few seconds. Suddenly, Uliana skillfully grabbed a glass of compote and splashed it in my face. That way she managed to get my hand off her. She dashed off to the counter and I chased her. This resulted in several flipped tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 crippled pioneers with various injuries, and full exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw. With too much of belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me, you won't behave this way again. And you? Olga sneaked on us from behind. When you looked down on it, such a riot couldn't be unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourself now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was just about to explode, and who's going to clean up all this mess? Exactly what happened. Who? I'm asking you, who? Him, replied Uliana with full confidence. Her, I objected less confidently. Both. The camp leader has given, quietus, the still ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame is more than hers, although Uliana didn't have a drop of guilt on her face. Beat it. I am not cleaning. Ain't nobody got time for that. This is his fault. He started first. No, it isn't. Oh, yes, it is. I'm not going to sort all that nonsense. Semyon, go grab a mop, a bucket, some cloth. You know, the kind of stuff in the closet. And you. She looked at Uliana with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You. Start to collect the broken tableware immediately. Olga took a deep breath and continued. You're nothing but trouble. How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly, a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not that true pioneer she keeps talking about, but in comparison to Uliana. Anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like I have nothing better to do than cleaning up the mess here. I have to seek the answers. The truth is out there, somehow flashed through my mind. Nope, gonna clean. Nah, running away is barely a good idea. For starters, Olga has caught me already, and dashing off would only aggravate my punishment. As well as that, I indeed was partially guilty. Of course, it was all her fault. But if I haven't reacted like that, probably we would have avoided this thrashing. Probably. I opened the cabinet and took a broom, a mop, and a dustpan. Olga wasn't anywhere near Uliana by the time. She's gone? Can't you see it yourself? Uliana looked upset, with all her youthful spirit vanished without a trace. Okay, hang on a sec. I'll go and wash myself a bit first. I shot her an angry glance and headed to the exit. I've washed the scraps of lunch off myself and returned to the canteen. Well, no escape. We had to clean it up. It's all because of you. Just a single gaze of hers gave me the creeps. Of course, that's me who's guilty of everything. That's me who is a local natural hazard. Oh, shut up. Still, it's kind of strange that she's not trying to avoid this cleanup duty. Uliana had a solid opportunity to just run away and leave me alone, but somehow she did the exact opposite, diligently gathering broken plate fragments, mopping the floor, picking up chairs and tables. In fact, she was so fast that I had a tough time keeping my pace with her. Now, ain't you suddenly acting goody-goody? It's not like I want to spend the whole day here, you dork. She still sounded irritated. Listen, you got to understand that one can't behave like that, at least to such an extent. Somehow, I thought of doing some morale talk with her, whatever. I haven't done a thing. It was you who was calling me names. Uliana grabbed a bucket with a mop and went to the farthest corner of the canteen. Looks like she's still angry. Looking back on the mountain of broken tableware, I finally got to understand the scale of the catastrophe. We're lucky that at least the forks and spoons were made of metal. We still got something to eat with. But there are hardly any plates left. Hey, Uliana called me with a shout. I came closer to her. I do get it. Why do you hate me so much? Her face became so serious that I was ready to believe that it's not just yet another trick of hers. Why do you think so? I have no idea. That's exactly why I'm asking you. I don't hate you. It's just that sometimes you behave as, well, you know. As simple as that, but still true. As what? I have no idea. She lifted her gaze, boiling at me with curiosity. Well, for starters, what's the great idea in pouring the compote all over me? You were asking for it. She smiled for the first time since we started the cleaning. Yeah, exactly. I heaved a deep sigh. So what do you expect from the others then? Nothing, she replied acidly. This discussion was over, so I just continued cleaning up in silence. ... It took us a few hours to clean up the canteen. At last, all the broken tableware was gone. Chairs and tables were on their designated places. The floor looked clean. We were sitting together with Uliana next to the food counter, breathing heavily, deservingly resting. Now you see how much effort had to be put because of a silly trick, but I'm not tired at all, though the sweat pouring down her face told the opposite. Oh well, good for you. So, what are we gonna do next? I have no idea about you, but I'd rather go. Nope, that's not all. You have to. She hesitated. Help me with another little thing. Thinking of another silly prank. You bet. She was smiling broadly. I'm not your man here. I'm more than fed up with just one punishment for today. Okay, here's the deal. If you're gonna help me now, there won't be another single prank. Sure, that was an inviting prospect, but somehow I couldn't bring myself to trust Uliana even for a moment. Well, it won't hurt to ask. So, what is your cunning plan? We're gonna steal the candies. What? I should have expected something like that. Candies are for kids. Soon the chef will come out to dump the trash can. Nobody's gonna see us. Count me out. Whatever. She grunted and turned away. Then I'll do it myself. And I won't allow... I couldn't even finish the sentence as Uliana has already jumped over the counter, ran to the cabinet, opened the door and started rummaging through it. Hey, cut that. It's not like you haven't got enough problems with Olga. She didn't reply. You won't get away with just a cleaning duty for something like that. Uliana closed the cabinet. She held a huge bag of candies in her hand. You little. Put that back. She stuck out her tongue at me and dashed off through the back door. I couldn't just leave it like that. I darted in chase. Sure, the girl had quite a head start, but I've still funneled all my energy into the pursuit. I won't lose her again. We ran through the square, turned our steps to the music club building, and came out to the forest trail. I almost caught Uliana as she stopped abruptly. I couldn't pull up just as sharp, so I crashed into her, sending us sprawling. Sad day. We rolled down the grass. Gotcha. I gave a victorious shout. No, you didn't, she replied with an ashamed tone. Uliana was lying under me. Her face. This is kind of inappropriate music. Just saying. Her face was right next to mine. Let's turn it up. I felt her wavy breathing, and the heat of her body. Sure, right now she's only a child, but soon enough she'll become a woman. Not a proper excuse. It was pretty embarrassing. Gonna rape me? This must be the explicit part. She said, coming back to her senses. You want me to? What? Anyway, it was more like a game for her. Sure I do. She made a cunning smile and snorted quietly. Or is it just my imagination? I'm not really in the mood. Whatever. That was awkward. Uliana reached out and bit my nose. I wasn't expecting that, and even pulled back a little. Just a few moments of hesitation were enough for her to rest out and run a dozen feet away. Watch it. You're gonna regret it later. She laughed out loud and disappeared into the woods. The candy bag was left lying on the ground near me. I wonder if she dropped it on purpose. It's getting near dinner time. What? You just finished lunch and it's already time for dinner. It's getting near dinner time, so I had to hurry up and return the candies. And preferably, very preferably, stay under the radar. Of course, I'll explain the situation. It was Uliana who had stolen them. But who's going to believe me? Olga was already waiting for me at the entrance to the canteen. Good job, Semyon. On what? I hid a bag of sweets behind my back. The bag was transparent and too big to be put in the pocket. I was talking about a cleanup. Everything is clean and tidy. And where is Uliana? And where is Uliana? I wish I knew. She'll come soon. Okay then, go and have your dinner. I entered the canteen, not a big surprise that it was full. Now, I really don't know how to return the bag without being noticed. Certainly I can do it in the evening, but what do I do with it now? Semyon! I turned around. Slavia was in front of me. Wow, what is this? She looked at the bag I didn't manage to hide in time. Caught red-handed, or more like candy-handed. Let's prepare for some scolding. This are sweets. Where from? I've stolen it, damn it. Got them from Uliana. Oh, I see. Same old stew. What do you mean? It's not the first time she steals sweets. And why am I not surprised? Let me handle this. Thanks. Slavia saved the day yet another time. She took the bag and headed to the buffet. I had no desire to listen what she was going to say while returning the sweets back, so I started to look around the canteen looking for a place to sit. It seemed that I will have to share a dinner table with Electronic and Shurik. There were no more places to sit. Oh God, I'd sit on the floor. What's happening, gentlemen? Every time I had to deal with them, I was getting an itching desire to tease them, or at least to drop something cheeky or cocky. It might be too risky to behave myself that way, but Electronic Brothers were my primary source of positive emotions. How are you doing? Fine, what about you? Hits and misses. Has anything happened? Lots of stuff. Mind sharing? Nah, some other time maybe. As you wish. He made a helpless gesture. We are going to the disco after dinner. Electronic giggled. I know that. Who would you want to ask out? I haven't thought about it yet. What about you? It seemed that this question caught him off guard. Ask Uliana. That would make her happy. No thanks. Electronic furiously waved his hands. And you, Shurik, gotta ask Alyssa out. Thanks, I'd rather abstain. He looked calmer than his mate. Oh, come on, guys, it would be fun. And in any case, we've got things to do. We still have to finish the robot. Oh, that's a marvelous idea. Ask your robot, can it dance? It can't even walk yet. Shurik probably missed the point completely. Why, it would be a great demonstration of our achievements in front of the camp. What would we show to them? Yeah, you're right. They both stared at the plates disappointingly. ... Dot dot dot. Dinner was over and the pioneers started to disperse. What will you wear for the ball? I asked Shurik and Electronic. We don't have anything special to wear. We'll go as we are. He pointed at his pioneer uniform. They don't seem to care about their appearance at all. Why should I care then? Wearing winter clothes is not an option, so I'll just go like that. When does it start? After 9 o'clock. Got it. I left the canteen and deeply inhaled fresh evening air. I remembered those rare discos I used to go to at school. Hesitation, insecurity, and even fear. I couldn't dance. I didn't know how to react if someone would invite me. I wouldn't dare to invite someone myself. Oh, shoot. I held down the button. My bad. I took a nap. I think I took a nap and I saw some dots. Strangely enough, I got up right on time, even without an alarm. Wasn't I supposed to do the whole nurse thing? The clock was showing 9. Such a rare thing to happen. I felt sluggish, though. Probably it wasn't the best idea to sleep during the day after all. Going to see Alyssa instead of the disco. So it's time then. But I've agreed to help Lena. What should I do now? Go to Alyssa. In a couple of minutes, I approached the stage. Maybe it was a good idea accepting the offer. Just talking to Alyssa means danger. On the other hand, I wasn't eager to go to the disco. What can I show there? I'll only disgrace myself. No, I'd better listen to Alyssa playing the guitar. Coming closer, I saw a person sitting on the edge of the stage, her legs dangling. So you came after all. Alyssa put the guitar aside and jumped to the ground. There was even a trace of joy on her face for a moment. Playing for someone is surely more interesting than being alone. As you can see, what are we going to do? What do you mean by what? I'm asking you. Well, you wanted... I got a sudden idea that the situation was one of our usual pranks and I shouldn't expect any guitar songs. I am going to sleep. Bye. I turned around and waved a hand intentionally slow. Hey. Alyssa snatched my sleeve. What? Don't you want to listen? Listen to what? You don't know yourself what you're going to do. I don't know everything. I know everything. She took the guitar and hit the strings with a mediocre couple times, whatever. Sit next to me. I didn't object, and I was sitting beside her in a moment. Better this way. Miss the disco, leave now. And what will I be doing next? The role of a stranger was more suitable for an observer, and not for the eager searcher of answers, who I wanted to be so badly. So, I'll show you how to play this song now. Just like that, right away. What right away? I haven't held a guitar for a long time. She probably knows better what and when I've held. What? My skills were enough to make a cat laugh. There is nothing difficult. I threw an intent look at Alyssa. It distinctly appeared to me now that she just can't express her feelings. She could lose her strange self-control for a moment, and I'll see a casual and even funny and friendly girl. And when her self-confidence and impudence turn back on, then greet the tit, as my mother liked to say. Interesting. And who was the real one? Hey. What? Stop sleeping. Oh yeah, sorry. So are you watching? I am. What song is this? The one I played in the morning, of course. Ah, okay, I'm listening. Alyssa made up her mind and started to play. ... That's it. Did you get everything? I may have understood, but I probably won't be able to repeat. How should I put it? It's okay. Practice bears results. She's undoubtedly right at this point, but I had problems with practice all my life. Well, I took the guitar from Alyssa and tried to play the first chord. It was hard, as if my fingers tied into the knot, and dreadfully didn't want to be in the right place. I did better before, but now I wouldn't even be able to play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Well, wait a moment. Looks like you won't be a rock hero. She laughed kindly. It may be better this way. I hissed, vainly trying to remember the order of strings to press. Well, the guitar started to make a devilish sounds resembling groans of a wounded dinosaur. My left hand fingers constantly missed right frets, and my right hand didn't strike in rhythm. Let's call that a progressive rock. Progressive, well, give it back. She took the guitar away, and it sounded completely different in her hands. I felt embarrassed about my clumsiness for a moment. Alyssa's skill may not be on the level of a real guitarist, but nevertheless, she played simple things like this with confidence. She must have had a lot of practice. Did you get it this time? She finished and offered me the guitar to me. Well, I did better the second time, but it was still a long way to Alyssa's level. As to any other good enough level, I was aware of being totally worthless compared to her. Seems so simple. Play a song with 3 chords. The tune is too simple, though. I put the guitar aside. Alyssa was lost in thought for a moment. Even a preschool kid would play it better. Thanks. I tried. I noticed. She might be trying to demonstrate her evident superiority of playing the guitar. It's not like everyone can be a musician. Not really. Alyssa looked up at the sky. Though you can't be one for sure. Why is that? You should have listened to yourself. I started to regret coming here. Well, don't mind me. Why does Alyssa need this? It's obvious that I am a horrible guitarist. Obviously. But if I have some practice, so will you practice? I don't know. Maybe I will. The guitar was the most minor of my problems, though. It was a strange world I can't escape from. It is more important than stupid argument with Alyssa. I suddenly felt an annoying self-pity, apathy, and a wish to leave this place, to forget this evening. Those feelings left a nasty impression and a burning desire to do or to say something stupid. As if it will change anything. What? That I'll learn to play guitar. You surely won't. You'll strum the guitar for a couple of days and give it up. Alyssa's words pierced my heart. You know what? Oh well. She should know. Is it a concern of hers? Do I act this way just because it is true and that it's Alyssa who spoke that truth? You can't know how to do everything. Probably not. But you should be able to do at least something. So, you mean I can't do anything? How should I know? You know I what? Should I tell her about my computer skills? Or about the books I've read and movies I've watched? Ah well, it's a pointless conversation. It goes without saying. You're just all about having fun. And you are all about whining. Forget it. I jumped down from the stage and walked away from the concert area. Go, go. I heard Alyssa yelling to me. Already going. I hissed. The path had led me to the square. There was Slavia in the center of it, sweeping the area. Oh, Semyon, hi. I thought everyone was already asleep. No, what are you doing here? Cleaning up after the disco. Why didn't you come? Just... And where have you been? I hadn't the slightest intention to tell Slavia how I shamed myself on stage with a guitar in front of Alyssa, while the whole camp was having fun in the square. I took a walk. Okay, but you should have come. It was fun. Glad you had it. I sweated like a pig today because of worries, or just a hot night. Hey, do you know where I can have a bath? Certainly, go straight, run a bit to the left by the path, then to the right, and there will be a bathhouse. ... Should I accompany you? Yes. What? No, no need. I'll find it myself. I totally didn't want to burden her anymore. I walked a forest path in that direction Slavia showed. My whole body was itching. How didn't I notice it before? What else didn't I notice, more importantly? If things keep going like this, then I'll have to stay in this world forever. I shivered at the thought. Probably of the idea that I didn't feel any terror, or even just fear. Just like its natural flow of things. I could see a bathhouse behind the trees. Why do pioneers have baths here? Olga had said something about repairs of the showers, though. No reason to worry about it now. There were soap and clean towels, so I quickly washed my face, went outside, and breathed in a full chest of fresh air. Ah, it's so wonderful that a physical cleanliness brings out a spiritual cleanliness. All of my problems, if not, went away. Then just became less important. It's like the water washed away not only dirt from my body, but also the anxiety from my mind. I suddenly started yawning, so I headed to the leader's cabin, rubbing my eyes. I didn't make it out even a few steps as Alyssa jumped out from the bushes. You, what are you doing here? I was just washing myself. She had come to her senses and spoke again. And what? I don't know what. Then why do you speak if you don't know? All my peace of mind vanished in a moment. Only the irritation and the weariness stayed. Okay, if you don't mind. Wait, what else? If back there on stage you thought that, well, I didn't want to offend you or anything. It's okay, I am not offended. I just can't play the guitar, nothing special. A lot of people can't. I felt that there were obvious signs of irritation in my voice, but I couldn't do anything about it. I wanted to speak everything in her face right here, right now. Exactly, you can't. Alyssa obviously restrained herself from laughing. Oh, I already had enough of you. She totally drove me out of my wits that moment. In a second, I would have started to yell at her. Or worse. Wait. Would you just leave me alone? Alyssa followed me, but didn't try to stop me. I really didn't want to offend. Some invisible power made me turn around. Okay, can I go now? Yes, of course. In the moonlight, Alyssa looked very beautiful with a quick, guilty expression on her face. If you could just shut her mouth, what are you smirking at? Although, nothing. I just thought that if you'd be a little bit more polite, then what? You were not to finish such phrases. Anybody could hit upon the idea according to own intellectual abilities. Ugh. Then nothing. Well, you must finish what you've started. There is nothing to finish. I am very tired and I am going to sleep. Stop right there. Don't make me run away from you. As if you can. She may be right. I am already exhausted of this day, and, naturally, I had no intention to run after a bath. So what? What? If I would be more polite, then what? Try that and you will see. Why should I do something for such a fool as you? Then don't try. What does it have to do with me? I sighed and dragged myself to the square. And you then, what? I replied without turning to her. Well, if I would, then you. I don't know what you were talking about. But let's think that I would, if it is easier for you. Moron. Alyssa yelled at me and headed to the bathhouse. The square show. Let's just stop there. We'll save it. We'll call it we need a break. That was a very unexciting part, but yep. We'll pause there.